Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello, everybody. How we doing today? Oh boy. Okay, life is lifing. I apologize for not doing a show on the weekend. But we got a good couple of shows lined up because I watched the entirety. I watched the entirety of Monique's interview with Shannon, and there were a lot of things said, a lot of gems dropped. I remember doing a video a couple of years back about Monique, and it was one of these incidents. I think it was the DL Hughley thing. And so I don't even remember what I said, but I'll probably go back because I don't know if my opinion changed or not. Just because I don't know what I said on that last live stream or whatever a couple of years ago. But I have a respect for Monique. Oh, thank you, Kendra. I'm not real sure what stuff do on Facebook, but the stars is a good thing. So thank you for that, because I'm not monetized on Facebook. But she said a lot of interesting things. Thank you, Terry, for kicking off the contribution. Crimson, before you get started, who wins in a fight underwater, Hulk or the Submariner? Hulk. And I like the Submariner. Prince Namor is my dude. The first few rounds of that, he gonna give Hulk a run for his money. But Hulk doesn't need to breathe either underwater. He adapts. So he doesn't need to come out of the water in order to fight. And if we're talking about the original Hulk, he gets stronger as he gets angrier. And that would be a problem for Namor, because Namor's strength does not increase like that. So first few rounds, Namor gonna give him a run for his money. Hulk gonna be tossed to and fro. And then after a while, if the fight keeps going on and Hulk gets angry, Namor is gonna have a problem. All right. I hate to do it to you, but I gotta put y'all on hold for like 2 seconds. I will be right back. My apologies. Thank you for holding on with me. I only got 250 people in here. Okay. After 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Damien, for the contribution. I appreciate you. Say hello, Miss Kendra. Haven't seen you in a while. Glad to be here. How have you been? I've been okay. Let's get to it. Because I had a few really interesting things to point out. Because she touches and goes. I'm not even gonna go in I'm not even going to go in chronological order of the interview itself. I'm just gonna touch on the points that I want to touch on. So give me a second. Because, you know, I got to put my little overlay on it. Okay. All right. So we're going to start where she talking about how she was out of order with her husband. So let me go.
Keep going back to that. I'm going to keep going back to that shit, Shannon Sharp, till he takes accountability for it.
You said your first son.
Yes.
That you're trying to get it. But it robbed you of a lot of things of a mother-son relationship.
It did.
And so you made sure not to make the mistake this time around. What's your relationship like? Is he resentful of that?
We're still very much separated.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where you have to pray to the universe and say, let time do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it. Let time do that healing. It may heal it in time and it may not.
Right.
And that's something that we as parents have to say, listen,
right.
I've done what I could do. I've taken accountability for it. Now it's up to you.
Right.
That's like when somebody's saying, Shannon, I want to apologize to you. Now it is up to you.
Whether or not to accept it.
Whether or not to, but once I give it to you, I've done my part. And don't apologize like no punk. I'm just sorry for everything. That gets your ass out of it. No, break it down. Let's go bit by bit so that way we know you understand the offense that you've done.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying because I've had to do that.
Right.
When I tell you I was so out of line and out of order when I first got with my husband, so out of order and out of line. And this has been my best friend since 10th grade. Since we were 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He came to the other weddings. Okay?
What?
It was like my brother. This man, he was like my brother.
He been out hustling you for a minute, Mo.
You know, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Listen, men do not orbit women that they don't like romantically. I wish women would stop thinking that there are men that just want to be their friend just because they cool. That's not true. They may think you cool, but they not only want to smash, they want you. They want you. They want you romantically. That man has been in love with her for the entire time that they've known each other. So Auntie Mo, yeah. Through the other weddings, that man has wanted you. Men do not remain in the friend zone without the hope that one day they will not be in the friend zone. Okay? So let's continue because there are other spots, like she's mentioning it in little bitty pockets. but I'm gonna let it ride a little bit longer.
That's why it's so beautiful, because we were like, we had a place together. He would see my boyfriend, I see his girlfriend, you know, that
You
he
didn't
might
feel some type of way?
This was my brother. This was literally my brother. And then if it wasn't my boyfriend, it might be another little fella.
Yeah.
But you know, he was like my brother. We were brother and sister.
Right.
In her mind. Listen. Listen when I say men do not think like women. If he's orbiting you, especially for years, this man is in love with you. I don't care how many girlfriends. I don't care how many other love interests. I don't even care if you get married. If a man is still orbiting you, he want you. He still want you. Okay. This is why men don't like it when their woman have men friends. Because it's like, oh, that's your brother. And how many times have you let your brother smash? How many times did he get it? And y'all just quote unquote cool. Right. And if he hasn't smashed yet, this is all the more reason I don't like him around, because now he want to be the shoulder you cry on when quote unquote you mad at me and all of this other type of stuff. So men know other men. That's why Shannon said what he said. He was like, oh, he was eyeballing you for a minute. He immediately said it. But we're going to go back.
Right.
So the way it happened,
yes,
it was so pure.
Tell me, and that's what I want to know now. He came to, you say came to wedding, you saw him have girlfriends. I don't know if he was married or not before.
Nope,
you.
Never been married.
How did it? I got to know this. Because Hallmark need to do a story.
Baby girl, we got time. We got time. We good on time. Absolutely. I want you to say that again, and I don't want Hallmark, but okay, because this story is spicy, and I don't know if Hallmark can handle the spice of the story. So we've always been like brother and sister, right? He was the one I would call after a show when I was staying at a motel, and I'd be like, yo, they got me in this motel and niggas outside and everything. I'm scared. He'd be like, but one day you're gonna be on the inside. This is the same guy that we was going to the like our little farmers market in Baltimore, and I had a comedy club called Monique's in Baltimore, and the girl had on a Monique's t-shirt, and he says, one day they know you only in Baltimore, but one day they're gonna know you all around the world. That's the same guy that when we step off of a plane in London together, and the guy says, my wife knows I fancy you. And we went back to that moment coming out of that store in Baltimore, where one day they'll know you all over the world. So he always made life right for me. But it was my brother, right? And I remember one night when I thought Gerald Levert was my boyfriend. And let me be clear, I thought he was my boyfriend. I was never his girlfriend, right? But in my mind, you know, we'll take it somewhere, right? So I'm in my feelings, because I like this little teddy bear, right? But the teddy bear didn't like.
It wasn't reciprocated.
Okay, all right, not the way I wanted it to be, right? So I call up my best friend. And I'm saying I'm mad. He said, all right.
I.e., she liked Gerald and she let Gerald smash, but soon realized that wasn't going to be a relationship. That wasn't going to be a relationship. And she would have liked for it to be a relationship with Gerald, because Gerald did strike me as a type of dude that you would want a relationship with, but he ain't going to do that. And then you'd be like low-key mad because he got all the qualities of like being a husband, but he ain't gonna do that because he too busy smashing. So that's what that means. But we gonna let it ride, because there are other things that she says that we gotta take a look at, because, well, I'll let this play a little while longer.
All right, he said, listen, it's all good. When you come home, you know, let's just hang out, right? When I went home, I was doing the BET Awards.
Right.
And I had a big party at my house.
Yeah.
And the next day I was supposed to go to Essence for the Essence Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So that night at the house, my house, the outside is packed. Ain't nobody throw a Hollywood party, Shannon Sharp, like Monique threw a Hollywood party. I had every race, every nationality, everything you thought could be at a party. And everybody was just
having a great time.
A great time, right? So he's at the party and he's very reserved, very reserved cat. So I grabbed his hand and said, come on, let's go dancing. And we go out on the dance floor and have a great time. After that, I'm like, all right, I got to start packing to get ready to go to the Essence Festival. So we go upstairs and I take my shower. Well, it's nothing for him to see me naked because we were roommates,
right?
So nothing. So
it was nothing for him to see her naked. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Listen. This is why men do not like when women have these brothers, these so-called brothers, right? Because y'all have roommated before, y'all have lived together before, like she said, and he would have a little girlfriend, she would have a little guy, over, and then it was nothing to see her naked. So she was running in and out of the shower. He done seen her in her panties. He done seen her without her underwear, and I'm sure she's seen him without his at some point or whatever. And that is a whole man. He is going to look at a naked body of a woman that he like with lust. He's gonna do it. And maybe she didn't think he was looking at her like that because she's heavy set, or whatever. Maybe she didn't think that she was attractive to him, but apparently all that time, big or not, he was attracted to her.
He says, when you come back from Essence, I want to talk with you. So I said, okay. So he went to kiss me on my cheek, but the kiss was half lip. It was like here.
Yeah, okay. See, sleep with it.
You see it?
Sleep with it.
It was right there. It was right there, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I tried to turn the whole mouth, but it came right there. Right? Because I felt something different. I felt it. And I was like, and then after it happened, we both almost had a feeling of like, we did something wrong. Like this, that's my. So we didn't address it.
Right.
I came back from Essence Festival.
What you want to talk about?
I went to his place.
Okay.
He fixed dinner.
Oh, okay.
He fixed dinner and read this amazing poem that he wrote. That was almost 19 years ago.
Uh-oh.
We've never been apart since then.
Wow.
We've never been apart since then. And I am more in love with that man today than I was when we first got married, because I didn't really know what I was getting. I knew I was getting somebody I could trust, because I just needed somebody that I could just try, like my brother stole from him. I just needed somebody that I could just trust, and I didn't want to keep on having randoms.
Right.
Because that gets old after a while.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
you're trying to fill the void.
Right.
And men go through that as well as women. You just get tired of. So I knew I could trust him, but I didn't know he was the king that he was, Shannon. I didn't know that I would be raised. And there are women that have a problem with me saying that, and I will not back down from it. I did not know that that man would take me from a 15-year-old mentality. Even though I'm a star, I'm famous, I got a few dollars in my bank account, but still had that little girl mentality. You can't correct me. You can't say nothing to me. You can't check me. You can't do none of that. Still had that way. That man was able to shut all of that down and grow me up. So I got a great one. I won't even say a good one. I got a great one.
You got a great one.
Now, we're going to pause it right there, because it's the relationship stuff that I actually want to focus on. It's the relationship things that I want to focus on. I don't think this is messy. Let me say something about that. I don't think that her saying what she's saying is messy. That's not messy. If you telling the truth on somebody, if you're telling the truth about somebody, that's not messy. I wanted to do a video because that was actually one of the things that D.L. Hughley took a shot at Shannon Sharpe about. He basically likened Shannon Sharpe to Wendy Williams, and basically saying that his show is like a messy show, like he messy because of the people. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the things that I want to talk about. Maybe not today, because this was going to be like at least a 2 or maybe a 3-parter, because she talked about a lot of things. She talked and touched on a lot of what ails us as a community of Black people and how we think about things and our perspectives of things. When DL basically said Shannon was being Wendy Williams, I actually was offended by him saying that. I was offended by that because, first of all, Shannon been running Club Shay Shay for a minute. His show did not start with Cat Williams. He been having celebrities on his show. He been having these interviews on his show. He been doing that. He do a whole segment with Ocho Cinco, like I think weekly or whatever. They talk about sports and they talk about all kind of stuff. And nobody was like, oh, he being messy. Like, and I'm not arguing with you, timestamp. This is just a conversation and our opinions. But I'm gonna get to that too, because let me finish the thought about Shannon. Shannon's show is not messy. He's certainly not Wendy Williams, because Wendy Williams would sit by herself, whether it was her radio show or her TV show, and talk crap about people's lives. She would talk about their family. She would talk about whether these were confirmed things or not. She was the queen of spreading rumors about people, unconfirmed information, spreading dirt and spreading garbage around on people, and laughing and kikiing about it. Shannon has not given his opinion on anybody. These people are people who are on his show, and a good interviewer is actually impartial. They don't say, oh, I'm on your side, or I'm not on your side, or I'm not on this side or that side. A good interviewer is non-biased. They let the people that they're interviewing say what they say. They let them say what they say. And an interviewer is not necessarily co-signing just because they've interviewed that person, everything that person is saying, just because they're there having a conversation and having an interview. Right? So Kat jumped on there and said what he said. What did Shannon have to do with that? What are you going to tell him? No. What are you going to tell him? Don't. Oh, we can't say that. We can't. Why come he can't say what he said? Why come Monique can't say what she's saying? Now, to address this opinion here, like I said, this is not like a back and forth or argument or anything. He said, I hear you, yet telling the truth to whom? Not the people that's involved. She already talked to them people. Her issue is that they don't take accountability for that which they did, which basically blackballed her out of Hollywood. That's taking food out of somebody's mouth. If that's my profession, if my profession is acting and my profession is, you know what I'm saying, being a comedian and an entertainer and things like that, and you say something to me, you and your cohorts say things about me throughout the industry that sacrifices all future earnings, you've wronged me. And if you don't right that, you continue to wrong me. And just because time has passed, that don't mean you didn't wrong me. Because if you did something to me and you have the power to make it right, this is not one of them things where something happened and then you can't change it because this is something that can't be changed. If you did something, you spread a lie or you spread a rumor or whatever, and it has affected me greatly, and I got you on recording saying you did that, but what you won't do is go back behind them same people that you spread that rumor to. You won't go back and retract the rumor that you spread. You won't right that wrong, because you can't. In Hollywood, that's a death knell. Telling people that somebody's hard to work with is a death knell to a person's career. They don't want nobody that's gonna be hard to work with. And if you are an influential person in Hollywood, such as a Tyler Perry, such as a Oprah Winfrey, and y'all say that rumor and the other one back you and all of that kind of stuff, well, these are two juggernauts in the industry. Monique is not nearly as influential in the entertainment field as those two, not nearly. So if they say, oh, don't work with Monique because Monique is hard to work with, that's a death knell for people. You cost me. Now, I may move on with my life because I ain't really got no other choice but to move on with my life. But that don't mean I can't say what you did while I move on. I can say what you did while I move on. We're not obligated to be quiet when people do us wrong, because people done lost their life over $2-3, let alone 20-30 million. Folks done lost their life stepping on gym shoes. Folks done lost their life with a word of disrespect, with a word of, you know what I'm saying, I feel like you did me a certain type of way or said a certain type of thing to me. If you take millions of dollars out of my pocket, I'm not leaving that alone. Especially if you got the power to fix that. What is $30 million to Oprah? What is it to Tyler, really? You pay that in hush money. You can't do me like that. And that was one of the things that she was saying in the interview, that if we're quiet, oh, I just go about my business, just go about my way. Well, that's fine if you go about your business. But if no one says anything about the dirt bag, if you being a dirt bag, then somebody else gets the displeasure of dealing with you as a dirt bag. All because nobody warned anybody about you being a dirt bag. And the way you do business is dirty. And you dirty talk people, you blackball people, you speak bad on folks' names in such a way that you know it will negatively affect them. She has not recuperated financially from that. She hasn't. And she's likely not going to. Right? So what I want to do is I want to go on a commercial break, and then I'm gonna come back and we really gonna cook into the other stuff that she says. So after these messages, we'll be right back. And I want everyone to go to ashkicking.com. If you want to keep your skin looking and feeling and smelling its absolute best, then the thing that you want to do is go to ashkicking.com. Please, somebody put the link in the chat. You want to go to ashkicking.com and get your body butter, get your body care, get all of the things that you need, because when I tell you this body butter is the absolute best body butter that I have ever used, I mean that with every fiber of me. And if this is going to be your first order, then please go ahead and get your 10% discount using the code Crimson. So the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Once again, please go there. Please get their wonderful products, because it is, the packaging is beautiful, the branding is beautiful, the website is beautiful. It's a whole vibe. But more importantly, the products themselves are of excellent quality. So you definitely want to just give yourself a little treat, indulge a little bit. Go ahead and get their body butter and their body care products. All right. I don't know how many likes I need, but y'all, bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button for me. Thank you, Dame. Oh no, I got you for that one. And thank you, HBAC. So people need to listen to understand, not listen to respond. And you know what? That's the sad part. They blackballed her. She is a much better actress than she's ever been a comedian, in my opinion. I've never thought that Monique was particularly funny. She's funny here and there. She's funny in a sit down. If you sit down with her, she gonna have you dying. You see what I'm saying? But that's different than stand-up comedy. It's okay. Like, she don't be getting on stage just bombing necessarily. I didn't like that last show that I think I did a video on it, where she was just up there like kind of cussing. I think she was cussing D.L. Hughley out. I ain't gonna hold you. I think she was cussing D.L. Hughley out. But her acting, that role as Precious's mother in Precious, made you hate that character. That's excellent acting. That's excellent acting. She's a much better actress than she is a comedian. I took her seriously. I believed Monique. I did not see Monique the comedian. I did not see Monique the funny girl. I saw Monique the monster as Precious's mother, and that was what we were supposed to see. She embodied that character. That she killed that. She killed that. Right? I would have loved to see Monique in other work. I would have loved to see her in other work. Serious roles, because sometimes comedians can do serious roles really, really well. And her as a serious role, oh baby, I would love to see her in whatever else that she did. Okay. Yeah, she was funny in that too. What was it? Roscoe Jenkins. Welcome back, Roscoe Jenkins, or something like that. She was funny in that too. She was funny in that. I ain't even gonna lie. So I like her as an actress. As an actress, Monique is golden. I'm gonna say this. I like her better than Taraji, and Taraji only has been an actress. But Monique was not Monique in that movie. She was not Monique. She was Precious's mother. And that's all she was. And that is acting. Precious is a cringy film. It's Cringy from the standpoint is that it's triggering. I'm not gonna say it's cringy, it's triggering. Precious is a trigger film. Okay, that this is a film that was one big trigger. But her performance in that, Monique's performance, oh, she blew that out of the water. She blew that out of the water. Right? So I want to go ahead into some other things too, because she said a lot of different things. It wasn't necessarily all over the place. Yes and no. But I wanted to jump to this part. Because he asks her a very serious question, and her answer, I believe, was very truthful.
Traumatic, and if you don't want to have to relive it, you don't have to. What you went through with your brother.
Yes.
When you going through that, how is that impacting you during that time? Because I think you're 7 to 13.
You better do your damn homework, Shannon Shaw.
And the impact that it's had on you and your relationship with men.
Oh. Shannon trying to be a journalist.
No.
Shannon, I throw this look at you. God damn it, you see you trying to come up, Barbara Walters, get off my brother. What impact? Wow. Remember when you said, and I don't know if you said this, so I don't want to quote it because I could be wrong.
Okay. But
someone said Shannon Sharp don't mess with black women. And
before you go any further, can I say this?
Please.
My grandmother told me something when I was a little boy. She said, boy, never chase a lie.
Come on, baby. Come on. Come on.
Why?
And you never said that, right?
I've never said that.
Okay, so that's why I said.
I got black kids.
That's what I said. I said, them babies black.
Yes.
They not confusing.
Yes.
We ain't trying to see if she Latin or Dominican. They black. They mama got black. Everybody that Shannon messed with was black.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Black. Okay? So there's this thing with us that you can't tell us nothing. And oftentimes when a black woman's been traumatized, she's guarded. Now you take a black woman that's been traumatized and now she got a little bit of money. And you take black men, some of them, that is impressed with the money. So I can say to you what I want to. Not being totally disrespectful, but you know who's running this.
Yeah.
You know how we do this. I've always had an aggressive personality.
Yes.
I have always jumped with, if I think you trying to violate. So to say, what did that do to me? It made me like this. And it made me say, I'll get you before you can get me. Because I know what it's like to not be in control of what you're taking from me.
Right.
I know what it's like to be in a position where there's nothing I can do, right? So when it came to men, baby, listen, I had my share, okay? I'm not saying I was no whore, but I was close. Hey, come on now, Shannon, get back to me. Now get back to me and call me later. Call me later, Shannon. Call me later, baby. Come on. Because you a football player with a lot of money. When you go into a city and you was in your prime, you had your pick. It's no different for a woman. When I went to a city, everybody wanted to be Professor Ogilvy. Hey, and I would pick him. Okay, you look like you could be.
But see, here's the thing. Now, Mo, all of a sudden, you being this fat black woman, it ain't a problem. Because I remember you said it was.
Well, let me say this.
First.
It wasn't never a problem with me being a fat black woman, because real black men, they like them in all shapes and sizes, all complexions. It is these new Negroes that get into, she gotta be this way, she gotta be that way. But real black men, if you can bake a pound cake naked, what y'all talking about? What you talking about? But what it did though was, and this is why I feel the way I feel about my husband.
Okay.
I remember him saying to me one night, because when we first got together, I was a handful, Shannon. And that's when I was really sick in the way that I thought.
Right.
And he said, check this out. You've used your brother molesting you as a crutch for your bad behavior.
Oh.
He said, and I won't allow that. He said, when you was a little girl, there was nothing you can do about it. But now as a grown woman, every choice and decision you make, it is yours. And I will not allow you to keep on saying because of my brother, because at what point do you take accountability for you? Baby, that grew me up, and that grew my ass up that night so fast, because I wanted to hear what my psychiatrist was saying to me. I understand. My husband was like, check this out. Check this out. You are in control of you. Every choice and decision you make, every one you lay down with, that was your choice. You've never come back to me and said you were raped as a grown woman. You've never said that. So stop holding on to that crutch. Stop holding on to that victim. Because this happened to me. I'm mad for days, and I come up out of that. And when I went to the psychiatrist, right?
Now, that was very important, and I'm going to stop it. I'm going to pause her right there, because that was actually really important. Because he asked her, what did the grapes that her brother was doing to her when she was a child, what did that do? How did that impact her relationship with men? And she basically said it made her promiscuous. It made her be more rambunctious, more disrespectful. You know, we know what she's saying, right? We know what Monique is saying. We know, we see it a million times. We see black women do that a million times a day. I don't need you. Can't talk to me. You bet not tell. You can't check me. Boy, you bet not say, And I know you ain't there, because she's making the money. She a boss chick. She gonna tell it later, right? She gonna tell you later about how she was a boss chick. I'm a boss chick. I'm the breadwinner. I'm making the money. You ain't quote unquote on my level with the money. So therefore I run you. I get to talk to you however I talk to you. And if you don't like it, you can kick rocks. Oh, well, I don't need you. What I need you for? Well, I'm Monique. What I need you for? And she said, I had my pick. It made her promiscuous. It made her, and she used it. And this is the part that this is what made me have more respect for her position, because she's saying, I used a very real trauma, but I was making sure that I was holding on to it in order to do what I'm doing. In order to be with these different men, they hopping in and out of my bed and But when I get confronted with it, and when I tell the story, I tell it from a victimhood standpoint. Well, I was a victim and this guy took it from me, so I'm just trying to fill it for the excuses. And she's saying that her husband checked her on that. I know how many men you've been with. I watched you. I watched you. And you ain't never told me that as a grown woman, nobody took nothing from you. You were handing it out like hotcakes, right? So what we not going to do is get the crying and being a victim when we talk about the hoeing that you were doing, right? When we talk about the promiscuity, what we not going to do is cover that up and say, well, it was this and it was that. No. You had these many men, and they was all your choice. You wanted to do that with them men, whoever they was, whether it was in a relationship, not in a relationship, whatever the case may be. Now, it may have been born out of some trauma, but that's neither here nor there. You're grown. And how long has it been? Because remember, they've been together like 20 years. So this conversation is probably not necessarily a recent conversation. She's just recalling a conversation that her and her husband had about this particular subject as it pertained to her. All right. So he did not allow her to sugarcoat that. We're not going to use a crutch. We're not going to use the crutch of the trauma to avoid the accountability. And that's where she be losing the sisterhood at. Monique loses the sisterhood with that. Because they like delusion and maintaining trauma and maintaining that victimhood status within the trauma in order to excuse them from any form of accountability. So once accountability come to them, they fall back to the trauma. They fall back to, well, this happened to me, well, that happened to me, well, I was done wrong at this time, and I was done wrong at that time, and such did this, and such did that. So you can't blame me for how I'm doing. No, Bookie. That's been a good 15, 20 years ago, Bookie. So when are you going to say enough is enough and take the accountability for that? It can only go so far. It can only go so far. My childhood was traumatic. There were a lot of things that was done that set me back. Lots of things that were not done that set me back. Lots of dysfunction in the home. As a child, there was nothing that I could do about that. As an adult, when are you going to take responsibility for where you are? Yeah, okay. Your parents did this. Your parents did that. It was a lousy, upbringing. You was this, it was that. It was drugs. It was fighting. It was all of that good stuff. Right. I got you. I see you. I hear what you're saying. I'm not invalidating it. It's not invalidated just because you are now an adult. So what are you going to do? Now that you realize you're behind the 8 ball, now that you realize that there were things that was done and your growth, your emotional growth is stunted and all of that type of stuff. Now what are you going to do? Because you can't be 20 and 22 and 25 and 37 still hearkening back to some stuff your mama said when you was 10. You got to get some help for that. You got to figure that out, Bookie. You got to figure that out. Because the world does not care about what you went through. They don't care about what you're currently going through. You still got to function as an adult in this world. And you are responsible. If you are sane, you are responsible for your choices, your actions, your responses, your relationships, how you carry relationships, whether they friendships, work relationships, romantic relationships, relationships with your kids, relationships with your mama, whatever it is, you're going to have to see to that at some point, and constantly going through your life, excusing yourself and your bad behavior based on, well, such and such happened to me. And welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. This is where she be losing the sisterhood at. They be with her until she say stuff like that. They be with her until she say stuff like that. Because let's talk about another point. How many of them would have been willing to marry a man that wasn't making her money? Because 20 years ago, she wasn't blackballed. You understand? And she said she came out of that. She came with that strong, independent boss chick. I don't need no man. She just told you she was out of order. She first got with that man. It's another point in the interview that I did not point out because she is so many different little points. But at one point she said when she first got married, she was sitting at the head of the table. You know, when they would sit down and she would sit at the head of the table because she was making the most money. And she like, you know, I was comfortable. I'm the breadwinner. You know, hey, you know what I say, go. She said they never had an actual conversation about why she was doing that until one day she stopped, went to the side of the table and sat down. And he went to the head. She said, and the reason that happened was because I realized my place. And she said that's when a lot of our sisters don't like that. When you go, well, what you mean, my place? Your place as a woman. Your place as a woman. That's what your husband's supposed to do. When she say grow you up, let's talk about grow you up. Because definitely your first husband, if you get married sort of as a younger woman, right? That's a part of his leadership. A part of masculinity is to help women emotionally mature. The first responsibility of that, the first man whose responsibility that is her dad. Her dad is supposed to be maturing her by putting her under his system, order, and structure. But daddy can't do that the rest of her life. Daddy can't do that the rest of her life. She need a husband to finish that job. This is why traditionally the father give her away to her husband, because the husband is finishing a job that the father can no longer do. Because she never outgrow her dad. She's always her dad's little girl, and he always gonna see her like that. So there's always going to be a level of giving and a level of compromise to her because that's my baby. Not saying that he's just gonna let her run over him or whatever, but you know, your daddy is different. Your daddy different. Because my daddy was not a pushover. He was very comfortable telling me no, but it was a hard road. Right? Because he didn't always tell me no. Depending on the severity of my need and asking him, he was going to make some stuff happen that he might not have otherwise done. The husband, though, takes a different perspective of that. He's supposed to now mature you, and women don't like to have, oh, he put you in your place. Yes, your place. That doesn't mean he stand on your neck like that, like how these chicks is trying to have it in their head. What's happening is you're supposed to be able to learn from your husband. You're supposed to be, he become your spiritual leader. He's your leader. So you're supposed to be able to learn from him. You're supposed to be able to mature. You're supposed to be able to develop under him. A leader creates better people. Leaders are supposed to make the people that follow them better in some kind of way. These people are supposed to be benefited, not just from a bill paying, not just from money, not just from the house he got you living in or the car he got you driving. That's not the only benefit that husbands provide. And Monique has figured it out, and Ebony K has not. Let's talk about that. Because everybody would say Ebony K is more aesthetically pleasing than Monique. Huh? Monique is overweight, then you know men ain't gonna marry you if you're that BS. Men will marry you if they see the marriage quality within you. Weight can be changed. And Monique done lost weight over these years. She ain't thin. She probably not never gonna be that. But she's not nearly as big as she was at one point. Monique was real big at one point. But Ebony K can't find now with her nice shape and looking good for her age and her little thin body, and she a little petite woman, and her education and her articulate nature. She's, you know what I'm saying? She's got all of these accolades here and there. You know, the lace front is lace fronting. She look cute. She know how to dress. She look cute in her clothes and stuff like that. Can't find a man. Why? Because she can't figure out what Monique figured out 20 years ago. Oh, I got to get under some type of order. I'm way out. Because Monique had 2 marriages prior to him. And 2 divorces. Right? So Monique has managed 3 times what Ebony K could not manage once. Well, she did manage it one time. And that was a failed venture. So Monique has 2 divorces, which are failed marriages. And with this marriage, seemed like she respects him and things of that nature. So they probably not gonna get divorced. And I give props to a 20-year marriage. I give props to a 20-year marriage, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me what the nature of their marriage is, because I ain't married to him and neither is nobody else. They married to each other. But Ebony K can't figure out. Ebony K can't figure out how to be married to a man that don't make as much money as her, because she can't figure out how to see the value in the man beyond his money. And Monique figured it out. Now that don't mean, because she's telling us that she went through basically a learning period where he had to teach her how to be more ladylike and how to be softer and how to be, basically he had to put her in her feminine energy because she's in her masculine energy. So he had to make her go into you're going to be in your feminine energy with me. You're not going to be in your masculine energy with me. I don't care what kind of money you think you get. You're going to be in your feminine energy. I know you. I know you very well. So if you think you're going to rear up and say stuff with your chest and all that kind of stuff with me and be disrespectful, we're not doing that. And Monique was able to say, you know what? I think I want to keep this marriage. So let me find some act right. I got to find some kind of act right. Or else this would be strike number 3. And I may not be in a position to get now another one now. Monique understand that she is in a good position at this point. Let that man go. Let him go for what? Because at one point she made more money than him? What does that have to do with anything? If he a man, he a man. If you respect him, you respect. You're going to respect the man if you respect him, regardless of his money. You can't tell me Ebony has not met a man that she have respected and he didn't have that money. I'm telling you, she has met that man. And that man has been everything that she wanted in a man. The only problem is he wasn't making no millions of dollars or whatever, however much she thought he should make. And because his status wasn't some big time status and she wasn't going to be able to tell folk that he this and he that and blah, 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 she declined in that relationship, you know, and he was like, oh, okay. You can't tell me. All because she couldn't figure out what Monique was able to. Monique was able to swallow the pride. That is what happened to her. She was able to swallow her pride. I need a husband. And all this, he got to make the money and I got to be the bread. That has not worked. Because I'm in my masculine energy and she might not have been thinking in those terminologies. No, in my masculine energy, you know, I'm kind of doing what I want to do, but these relationships ain't been working. I mean, I can get in them, but we getting out of them too. And she finally got with a man that didn't care nothing about all that. I seen you when you didn't have that. And then I seen you when you had it. I don't care about your little money. What I care about that? I know the girl in high school, baby, that was fat and black and had a self-esteem issues and insecurity issues. I said, I know her. I know that girl. That's the one I watch. So I know you ain't gonna call yourself get a few dollars scratching around in your pocket that you go talk to me like that. Just, you think you gonna talk to me like that because you think that because I want to marry you and I've been around you all this time that I'm gonna stick around you and just be happy that you with me and you can just talk to me in the old kind of way and I'm just so grateful to be with Monique. No, actually, no. And however he has done that, it apparently worked because she speak highly of him. He was able to rein her in out of that foolishness. You're not going to kick up dust in the boneyard with me. I know you out the boneyard. I got you out of there. I seen you being there. But all that back foot, all that dirt scooping with your back feet, we not doing that. No, sir. I seen the way you talk to that one and that one and that. No. You think you're going to do me like that? I love you, but you ain't going to do me like that. I love the ground you walk on, but you ain't going to do me like that. You going to talk right. Right? Because I'm just not going to do it with you. I'm just not going to do it. Then now what? I'm not going to allow you to kick up dust in this relationship. And you being the star in it, you being the famous person in it, you being the money maker in it does nothing for me. And that is what women like Ebony K, and not even women like Ebony K, any woman, these little women that think they got a little job and a couple of dollars. She don't even got to be famous or on no platform nowhere. We talking about the average Black woman that thinks she making a couple of dollars, got that mentality. I gotta find a man that's on my level, and you know he got to be making such and such money, and if he don't be making that kind of money, yeah, I just because he got to be a provider. A provider of what? A provider of what? Because the real provision is his masculinity, his system, order, and structure. That's the real provision. Money is secondary to that, not primary. Money is not the primary provisioning that husbands give you. His masculinity, his masculine light, his system, order, and structure is the primary thing that he provides for you. My husband is a wonderful provider, but he understands what he's providing first and what he's providing secondarily. Sure, his money is on the table, but that is not the be all end all of what he provides for me. He provides structure, system, order, and structure. He provides his masculine light to me, his masculinity to me, his leadership to me, his problem solving to me, his protection to me, his love and procreation to me. These are all his provisions, and they have nothing to do with money. And these women out here can't see it. They'll talk bad about Monique for having, oh, he just after you for your money and da. Well, she's not now making the money she was before, and they still together. And y'all always talking about a man supporting you and all that kind of stuff. And if she was the one with the career, why wouldn't he support her in her career? Y'all, that's what y'all say y'all want. And then when a man do that, he after her money. And if he is, let's just say he was after her money. And well, since we in that skin off your nose, you losing something? People ask this from time to time. Men are the providers of things, and women are the receivers of things. So if he's providing his masculine light, she should provide her feminine energy to him. Now, that may seem like, oh, well, that ain't really nothing. It's something, because women don't do that, and men are complaining that the women are what? Too masculine, that the women don't know how to be in a feminine energy. And what does feminine energy entail? If he is problem solving for me, then one of my jobs is to accept that problem solving without chaos and challenging him and refusing it. Let's go here. Okay. Because the 4 P's are attached to, we'll call these the 4 T's for women, right? Time is attached to procreation. Toll is attached to provision. Trouble is attached to problem solving, and threat is attached to protection. Okay. So if we're going to go from provision, problem solving, protection, and procreation, let's start with provision, which would mean from the feminine side, the toll. She is not to be a burden of toll on him. She is not to be a burden of giving his masculine light, draining him of his masculine light, refusing the system, order, and structure that he is providing. And being if we want to talk about finances, being a spendthrift of his finances, being reckless with his finances, draining his finances, being a minus to him in this way. She should understand that a man is probably going to provide for her money, among other things, and to be mindful and also grateful about these things. Gratefulness means, in this case, that again, she is not being an unreasonable burden about it. She's not using him for it. She's not even using him for his masculinity to fill a void with his masculine energy. Like a lot of women do. They're broken vessels. So anything you pour into them pours out the bottom because it's a crack in it. So pouring in his masculine light doesn't fill her up. It just becomes a drain because she's a pit, a bottomless pit that can't be filled. If we want to go to problem solving, that's going to be trouble. She can't be a whole lot of trouble. That is how she reciprocates problem solving. He's going to be in a position to solve some of her problems because men are better problem solvers than women. And men always solve women's problems, whether that's on a one-on-one or a systematic basis. So he's going to problem solve for her. That's fine. But what's not fine is if she makes problems for him to solve and then don't accept the solve, don't accept the solution. And even if the solution is applied, she creates more problems, more problems, more problems. Every time you turn around, a problem. Every time you turn around, the same problem. It's never solved. It's never solved. None of her problems ever solved. No matter how many solutions he applies, her problems can't be solved. She's got a million fires that he has to put out constantly. This is a drain. He is unable to think or do anything else or solve his own problems or solve problems as for the couple because he's so busy putting out her personal fires. If we want to move to protection, she can't be too much threat. She can't be a threat to him mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or financially. She cannot threaten him. Many times men don't marry women that they like because she's too much of a threat. She has displayed threatening behavior. When I say threatening behavior, I don't necessarily mean physical threats. But that could be too. She puts you in situations where you are in some type or could be in some type of physical danger, or she puts you in situations where you're in financial trouble, or she puts you in situations where, you know what I'm saying, your mental health could be at stake. She puts you in situations where she's emotionally abusive. She's threatening. Always a threat. She's high risk all the time. You actually can't. This does not leave room for trust. Can't trust her. Can't trust what she's gonna do in times of, just good times now. And she's already a threat in the good times. What is she gonna be if you happen to hit a hard patch? Then what she do? You know what she's gonna do. You know what she's gonna do to you. And then finally, procreation, time. Men give time in order to receive affection, among other things. What does she do? Withhold sex, withhold affection, doesn't care for him, isn't nurturing to him, isn't loving to him. So a woman should be doing what? A wife should be doing what? Loving her husband, nurturing her husband, being physically affectionate with her husband, having sex with her husband, connecting with him in that physical way, because men connect physically. They connect emotionally through their physical connection. If they love you, that's a part of his emotional connection. Men feel emotionally disconnected from their wives if they're not having physical sex or physical intimacy with them. Hopefully that answered the question. Right? There were some other things that she touched on that I may save for tomorrow. Because interestingly enough, she touches on the lost value system that Black people collectively are a part of. Now, she doesn't use that terminology, but that's what she's talking about. And I wanted to touch it. But I'm gonna wait for tomorrow. But here's one thing that I do want to say before we start wrapping it up. My overall thoughts about this interview was that she's been talking about the blackballing that Tyler did, the way in which Oprah undermines her at every turn in her career. And what happens, what's making it right for her. And I listened to the interview very carefully. Lee Daniels, which I did not know before, apologized to her publicly because remember, Lee Daniels' name was in that group too at one point. She didn't like it. She was talking about all three of them. But Lee, she said, apologized to her privately and publicly. So the one thing that I noticed was that she did not include Lee in, well, he did this, he did that. His name came up as a part of the storytelling, but she was very clear to make it known that he had already apologized. So therefore, she was like, I can't keep holding him to the fire. He already took accountability. So why would I keep saying he did this, he did this, he did this, when he already apologized for that? So no, I'm not going to keep on saying, well, Lee Daniels did this and Lee Daniels did that without saying he apologized for that. So me and him are cool. We can work together. It ain't no problem. Right? I'm glad that she's talking because Oprah Winfrey got to be talked about. Okay. Oprah got to be talked about. Oprah been steering folk wrong for a long time. Okay. This is a miserable female. Okay. This is a miserable, stingy female. She ain't even so much as had no kids to bequeath her billions of dollars to when she gone out of here. Okay. Do we understand that? Oprah did not even so much as birth children to bequeath her estate to. She didn't marry. Her husband can't get now nothing. Nobody can get nothing. This is a miserable female that believed that because she's a billionaire, she can control folk. And interestingly enough, depending on who we talking about, she can control them. She can. Her influence, folks in that industry and stuff like that don't want to step on her toes. You know who toes you stepping on? All she got to do is put out a look and a word, and you're done. And folks ain't trying to have their livelihood over with. And this is how she's able to do somebody dirty. This is how she was able to do Taraji dirty. And Taraji had to come out with a public letter uplifting Oprah and how Oprah was, her sister and this and that, after it was obvious and known that Oprah had did her dirty on The Color Purple. I mean, then she got to write a public letter specifically naming you and saying how, Oprah's my sister, she been good to me. Why she had to write a letter? Why she had to make a post that was specifically targeting Oprah? Why? Think about that. And if you bosom buddies with Oprah, Tyler, birds of an Ozempic feather flock together, beloved. You cannot be bosom buddies with somebody that you're not either scared of or you share ideologies with. Don't want to ruffle no feathers. Don't want to shake no tables. Don't want to do. I always find it interesting when I have to take a listen to somebody that's saying something and them saying that thing about certain people hurts them to a certain degree. Monique is because she's not being silent and she's naming names. See, if she didn't name names, they wouldn't be in their feelings like that. They salty because she says their name. But if I'm telling the truth, why wouldn't I say your name? If I'm telling the truth, why wouldn't I say your name? If I'm lying, it'll be a lot of him and hawing and, oh, well, I don't know. And a lot of vague, they, them, these, and those. But just like Kat got on there and was saying names. Okay. So your name got said. What you gonna do? You see how they low-key ignoring it. And I'm sorry. DL Hughley got real in his feelings. So much so he took a shot at Shay Shay. Now, if what she's saying ain't real, what you mad at? That's all I'm saying. If she's full of BS, and she just out here lying and talking out the side of her neck, why even pay that any attention at all? That don't need no attention. Why you giving it energy? Just leave it alone. Right? Anyway, I didn't like them taking a shot at Shannon. I don't always agree with Shannon's takes on things. I don't always agree with his takes and his perspectives on things, but he seemed to be a respectful person. He tried not to be offensive, and he just running his show. And you know what? Black folk really kill me. I'm gonna say this. Black folk really kill me. Now that he done got a whole lot of traction with black folk that was not sports fans, right? Because if you was a sports fan, you saw when Shannon transitioned from First Take. Wasn't it First Take he was on with Skip? And Skip said them last few things that got Shannon heated. And soon after that, Shannon started working on his own podcast. Club Shay Shay been going on for a minute. Now that Cat got on there, it was Undisputed, right? It wasn't First Take, it was Undisputed. First Take is the other show. So now, since Cat came on there and said what he had to say, and then now Monique done came on there and said what she had to say. Now all of a sudden, Shannon is messy. Let's just take that for a minute. Let's just say he messy. Everything he getting now get 1 million views. In the premieres, when he premiere these interviews, the live chat that be watching be tens of thousands. It be hundreds, like 100,000 people. My number of subscribers watch his premieres. Do you understand me? So a lot of times we talk out both sides of our neck. Cause one minute, you know, oh, it's messy, but you tune into it though. Faithfully. No sooner than he put something up. And I'm not saying don't tune into him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying let's not talk out both sides of our neck here. And I'm speaking in general. Let's not talk out of both sides of the neck. That's why I'm not liking about some of the narrative that I'm hearing kind of floating around a little bit. Oh, Shannon kind of why is he messy? Because we don't like truth being told. It's not messy to tell the truth. Because what if the way in which his show go actually bring together some people and bring together some healing and some understanding between people who might have had beef? We got to get out of that. We got to start not, and Kat said it and people cheered it on, but I think we didn't necessarily, not all of us understood the ramifications and the gravity of that. Truth ain't scared of no lie. And we got to stop being scared of telling the truth and saying what the truth is, even if the truth is unflattering. Exactly. Nobody done came out and said she lying, no. Mad and all in their feelings, but they ain't say, you know, she lying. And here are the receipts for the lies. Shut up if she ain't telling the truth on you. All you got to do is shut up. Make her go ahead on about her business. The only thing is she wasn't able to recover and recuperate and kind of pivot the way Cat has been able to do with his career as a comedian and really as an actor. He was able to come to that door and say, oh, y'all not gonna get me like that. And you also not gonna stop me. I'm gonna be successful, and I'm gonna be successful on my terms, not on your terms. You're not gonna be able to buy me and sell me for pennies on the dollar. Got me messed up. The only reason why Monique has not been able to do that, in my humble opinion, is because I don't personally think that she is as talented as a comedian as Kat. Sometimes that raw talent, you can kind of get over it. You can get over it because people gonna come see you anyway. And I think that's how Kat has managed to get around the blockade. Listen, I'm talented. I'm the talent. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Ain't nobody coming to see no executive producer. They don't even know who you is. Thank you, Courtney. So I've been saying that Monique is a much better actress than comedian for years. Every role she has, she knocked it out of the park. I agree. Her acting skills are top notch. Thank you, Gregory. Said yes, there is a new Negro, and he ain't buying just anything anymore from the general Black female population. Thank you, Common Man. Said real Black man just wants a good woman he can trust through thick and thin. Size doesn't matter. This is coming from a Black man. Thank you to Renzo. So it said, as it said, Tiff will take any man who will have her. Yet Monique on stage, and Monique, the real woman, has a husband. She outgrew her trauma into maturity, where skinty bees are still struck. You silly. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much, Skinny Boy. So Ebony K told me to tell you stop cow. Thank you, Miss Beshua. Said females like Ebony K and Halle Berry go to show beauty cannot keep a man, nor does it teach you how to be a wife. Thank you, HVAC. Said Ebony K is about crash out permanently within a few years, and it's gonna be sad. 40 and still can't figure it out. Thank you again, HVAC. Said he told Monique, either you gonna act right with me or you ain't walking through my door. Exactly. Thank you, Best. She was a Tiffany Saddish or Haddish. That's a good one. Came on the scene as ghetto and ratchet. She seems to act like that both on and off stage. No one takes her seriously. Exactly. Thank you, RBNs that teach Crimson. This analysis is timely. Thank you, Mr. SF Black. The expectation of manhood nowadays is more costly than ever. So if a man has to provide much more than his father and grandfathers did, his woman must possess more femininity than her mother and grandmother had. Thank you so much. Thank you again, HVAC. Said Crimson, please don't make me say okra wig for y'all gonna make the West End Alabama come out of me. Thank you, Miss Mia. Said anyone check on Stedman lately? Has he blinked twice for help? Oh, I ain't heard from Stedman in a while. That's a good point. Thank you, Miss Lucchese. Said OMG, the Ozempic feather came in late. We'll have to watch the replay. And thank you once again, HVAC. Said Shannon and Mike Ep playing on Fighting on All-Star Weekend. Every time I putting the strap on it. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Let me see if we got any cash apps. AB with the cash app, AY with a cash app. 2Triv with a cash app, JA with a cash app. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all for your contributions. Says size do matter. It do. You know, I want to actually make that clear. You know, you don't have to be a stick figure size 4 and a size, you know, if you're a lioness, you a lioness, and a lion somewhere gonna want you. What you gotta make sure is that you're healthy and that you're in the best shape that you can be in. Everybody not gonna be the same size, right? But I want the lionesses to understand that men do want physical appeal. So if you got some weight to lose, go ahead and try your best to lose it. You may not get to a size 8 and all that kind of stuff, but whatever size you are, look good in it. And whatever size you are or aren't, I can tell you this much: sloppy fat is not acceptable. All that close to 300 pounds, that's not acceptable. You can do better than that. Everybody can do better than that. All right, so jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.